Welcome, sentient beings from all known universes and beyond. It's time to activate your cranial downlinks and prepare to receive a raft of discussion on a cosmic ocean of science fiction and fantasy topics, interviews with local area genre devotees, and insightful prognostication by our soothsayers of science fiction, our forecasters of fantasy, and any other beings that happen to get caught in our gravity well. This is the Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. I'm Bill.
I'm Linda.
And I'm Seth.
I'm Jenna.
And I'm Chris.
And this week we're going to be talking about the new Marvel movie, Eternals, which just came out this weekend. I think it was this. No. Was it this weekend? Yeah.
Yeah. It was
That's
2
last
weekends
weekend.
ago.
Okay.
Recently.
Last weekend. Yep. But at least we've all seen it now.
And this is your final warning, your first and final warning. Ahead there be spoilers. We're gonna spoil shit. So if you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want to be spoiled,
Yeah.
go
Turn
watch
your
the movie
ship
and then
into a
listen to our
180 and get
episode.
out.
Yeah.
And then comment. No matter what, send us
Come
a
back
comment.
and give us a comment. We'd love to
Yes.
respond.
All right. Well, let's see. Who do we want to start with here? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Jenna,
Yes.
what did you think of Eternals?
So this is a movie I absolutely would have loved as a kid. Like, it has everything in regards to a variety of different sites, a very complex mythology, a little bit of love story, because my favorite romantic movies are not romantic movies, but action movies that happen to have romance in them, like Terminator. So it's great entertainment, awesome fight scenes, great fight scenes, and we saw it in IMAX, so it was even like more epic. But the storyteller in me, I wish they would have made it longer, because I think they did not lay enough emotional groundwork to make Icarus and Cersei's relationship and bond believable in the beginning, like why they even hooked up. And I don't think they laid enough emotional foundation for Sprite to be in love with Icarus.
Agreed.
Those
They
are
didn't.
probably-
They certainly didn't on the ladder. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I just, for me, Druid and I forget her name, the lady who sign languages.
That was Lauren Ridloff, who played Makari.
Makari, that evolution felt more natural to me.
Yeah.
And seeing that felt more natural than Cersei and Icarus. I don't know why.
Was it more on-screen chemistry? It seemed to work in a shorter period of time, you think, or?
Well, it's, I guess, because they didn't make quite a big as of a jump. Like, you can tell there's an affection there. There might have been moments in the past, but there is a kinship in personality. Like, I felt like Icarus and Cersei's relationship was almost a Jean Grey and Cyclops type of, like, they're both the just alpha goody girl and alpha goody boy.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
So,
Which doesn't make for a very compelling, emotional, romantic story that you can really believe in the two of them at all.
I mean, they were together for 5,000 years. And I just think
Well,
there's
most
probably,
of 5,000 years, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, I just felt like there was probably more on the cutting room floor that would have showed this buildup of why he even fell for her.
And why he left.
Well, he left because he said he knew the story. He knew
Right.
the true purpose.
He
He
couldn't
knew they were
face
all
her
going
every
to
day.
He
Yeah.
couldn't keep the secret anymore, knowing it was
Ah.
getting closer and closer.
And knowing that she would, if he told her, she would fight it because she loved the planet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Since day one that they land there, yeah, they're she was like the closest to the human beings there. So
I'm sorry that
should we
went
cover
along.
the synopsis real quick for anyone that hasn't? Well, I guess if you're watching this, you should have watched it by now. But
Yeah. Chris, you want to take us through a synopsis?
yeah. So basically, what this is about, this, as Jenna gave you kind of a timeline there, 5,000 years ago from current day.
No. They came at 7,000. They were
7,000.
5,000 BC ish.
Okay, 5,000 BC ish. So several thousand years ago, their
The dawn of humanity.
Their creator, basically sends them to Earth. 10 of them. I have their names here. Ajax, Circe, Icarus, Kingo, Sprite, Fastos, Makari, Druid, Gilgamesh, and Thena. Sends them all down to Earth to battle these creatures they call deviants, which were basically kind of hampering humankind a little bit. So they were kind of sent there to equal the balance, if you will.
Flat out eating them.
Yeah, flat out eating like the humans and stuff. So they were there to kind of level the playing field a bit and save humanity so that they could progress forward. You find out later on in the story, which we'll get through in conversation why, but basically in this time setting, even through Thanos and all the other crazy stuff that happened on planet Earth, these immortal Eternals, each with unique special powers, have been walking among us, if you will, like Clark Kent, from Superman. So
guiding our development.
Yes, and protecting us where it's needed most, but not really.
And yeah, guiding our development and kind of shepherding the technology a bit.
Mm-hmm. One of the Eternals' special gift was technology and building things. So it seemed like the way they told the story, every couple of centuries, a few centuries, he would kind of present to them a new invention that helps them move forward, kind of things. And earlier on, they kind of joke about a plow, being like one of the things that they invent for the
because he was gonna give them a steam engine.
The steam engine, right? And they're like, whoa.
And the lady who leads the Eternals, Ajax, played by Selma Hayek, she says, "Well, wait a minute, no, this is way too advanced.
Yeah,
we got to go
too
slow
early,
with this
too
thing."
soon.
And he goes, "All right, here's my other idea. And it's just a manual plow pulled by oxen, So
they're like, this is great for the village over their way, or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But one key thing that kicks this story off, that the movie jumps forwards and back through time. It kind of leapfrogs through different eras to clarify maybe questions that you have as you go through the film. One key thing to note is that after a few centuries, they defeated the deviants, or so they thought. They were no longer there. So their purpose was basically to not return home and stand around. They were just to wait and observe. And if the deviants ever returned, which they didn't, at least not until the events of this film, they really had nothing to do. They ended up splitting ways due to differences in how they felt, whether or not they should intervene in things that the humans were doing, preventing wars, things of that nature.
Because point to add, they think they're from a different planet.
Yes.
We come to find out later that's not
Olympia.
the case, but they believe
they're from Olympia. So at some point, all they're waiting for is to go home. And over time, that starts to wear on them. So this movie kind of covers a little bit of their trials of the centuries as they go through that. Their ultimate splitting up, if you will. Some of them mutually, some of them not so much. And that's kind of where the film starts to take place.
Right. Okay. And so the thing that kind of confused me is, so this leader, or the god that created the Eternals, Arishim, right? He's
a celestial,
right? And so he created.
I thought he's even higher than a celestial, though, or I guess he's just the grand primal celestial.
Yeah, I think he is supposed to be the original celestial.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so initially he creates the deviants, right? And he sends them to Earth to take out the apex predator so that humanity can evolve.
Well, this is stuff we find out later on in the movie. Like, this is related to the big secret that
that's
Ajax found out, and that what's her name?
Cersei?
Not Cersei, the High Eternal.
Ajax.
No, yeah, Ajax.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Ajax.
Yeah, this is the High Eternal knows the truth, and that is that they are not from Olympia. They are beings that were essentially very advanced robots created by the Celestials.
Mhm.
But I thought we
then-
knew that the deviants were originally sent there to help
No,
humanity.
they
No, not
were
initially.
sent
Okay.
to eradicate the deviants to help the
Right.
population
Yeah.
of Earth.
Yeah,
What we
I
find
just
Not
out
thought
just
later
Earth,
was
but
that
other
he's the one
previous
that put them there.
planets.
Yeah, we find out later that they're the ones that put them there in the first place.
Okay.
So
They think this is their first mission, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And so here, big spoiler territory. The truth is that Arishim, the celestial that created them and sent them on the mission, and that they're reporting to, is not shepherding the. He created the deviants to in the first place that they're hunting and supposed to be eradicating. He created them. He created the Eternals to kill the deviants because he made a mistake with the deviants. The deviants evolved to consume intelligent life, and they aren't there. The Eternals aren't on Earth to shepherd intelligent life, the humans. They're there. Well, they're there to shepherd the intelligent life because what Arishim really seeded the planet with is another celestial. And
Mhm.
that
Right.
is the whole system they're protecting is the celestials kind of germinate in a planet and need that intelligent life on the planet to develop and grow. And then the celestials themselves will create stars and worlds with intelligent life.
Galaxies. That type
Yeah,
of
it's
Galaxies.
world building at the expense of like all intelligent life and technology built on a planet. All of that fuels the seed, if you will, that being that gets born, and that trade-off for that existence is all that life on that planet.
And
So-
then the Earth is like an egg, and when the
Yep.
celestial is mature, it hatches out of the planet and just busts it like an eggshell.
Mhm.
And then it's
So-
goodbye humanity.
Right. So that's I think a good summary. We can get to the plot later. Chris, what was your, or Bill or Linda, whoever's next, what was your like thoughts on the movie?
I'll go because mine's pretty
Yeah.
quick. I liked it. They did the jumping around thing pretty good on the timelines, I thought. I've mentioned on this podcast before, and things like The Witcher, I wasn't a fan of that, but
Mhm.
that's also because it took a while to kind of learn tricks to figure out where the hell you're at in timeline.
Yeah.
This one did a really good job of just kind of laying that out there. And to your point earlier, Jenna, about not having enough time to build out some of the relationship between the characters, or just having a lengthier movie, I do wonder if there's a cut, because that's the thing these days, of
Mhm.
extended scenes where there's more history there, more things maybe that they would have filmed at. I think that would be kind of cool to see, because I did enjoy a lot of the flashbacks and different, because you can do whatever you want with them in any time over the last few hundred years. It could be interesting here on Earth. So I like what they did with that. But it was also interesting that as long as they've been there, everything that they kind of flash back to was still pretty recent. There was
Mhm.
nothing, and it's probably because anything prior to the last 300, 400, 500 years is probably pretty dull. But I liked it. It was 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I thought it was good. It was cinematically cool to watch.
Mhm.
I really like that.
Pew.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love his character, Kingo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really have or develop any emotional attachment to any of the characters though.
Mhm.
So, when they died, it was like, yeah, okay,
Oh,
and so for me, it was kind of like the movie was more like emotional popcorn, I guess. There wasn't a lot of investment in the characters. It was fun to watch. It was great great entertainment, but I think it's there just wasn't a lot of emotion in there, or psychological revelation, or
I have a thought on that real quick. I
go
wonder
ahead.
if that was highly intentional, because where Marvel left off in the last couple of films, last few films maybe, were very emotional. Between the Avengers movie and everything, everybody kind of got kicked in the nuts, or they had their heart ripped out or whatever. And I suspect this could have been an intentional departure from that to get back to more entertaining, more action and things like that. And who knows, down the road they might get really deep into some of that stuff again. But the last few Marvel movies were really it was like deep,
Yeah.
Right.
Which
I
means
think
we kind of grew to get accustomed to that though. And now when you expect it, now it's not.
Now it's not there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
a weird shift. It's a little bit jarring, maybe.
My wife described it as a Marvel movie for people who don't like Marvel movies.
Oh wow.
that might.
That's fair. And
That is fair.
I've also said I didn't like the dependency on other Marvel movies. And some of the other ones where you really had to know it, and you really didn't have to know anything for this one. And I enjoyed it for that fact. So I agree. It's in the Marvel universe, but
there is that. But at the same time, it was also very much taking place on a world after like Thanos' snap, and they acknowledged that.
Yeah, they did.
And that leads to kind of my problems with the movie is like, where the hell is everyone else?
All the other superheroes.
Yeah, just anyone.
Right. So what were your overall thoughts then, if you're done, Bill?
Yeah, go ahead, Seth.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I appreciated where they had the humor in it, the world building that went into it, and frankly, the Eternals. I didn't know anything about them going into this. I
didn't either.
Yeah, this is something that for once I went into blind, not knowing what to expect, because I didn't really know much about the Eternals, the Celestials, other than they're big, super powerful beings in the universe. So it was nice to get a new take on everything. My big complaints, I guess, is that it's good that it's unconnected from the other stuff, but at the same time it was too unconnected, because you'd kind of think that Doctor Strange at least would know something about a great big celestial thing growing in the planet, or show up when it started erupting. Like that worldwide earthquake definitely would have set off an alarm somewhere in Avengers Tower. And we would have at least seen maybe Rhodey come in, or rocketing in the War Machine armor, only to get swatted out of the sky.
But let's be honest. Once it started to appear, it went really quick, all things considered. And where they are on the world, it would have taken hours even for Iron Man to fly there.
But not Doctor Strange.
No, not Doctor Strange. But we don't know where Doctor Strange may have been, because simultaneously could be the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, I think they'll have to do a little explaining as to where everyone was when this went down. And I guess my other big thought is, God, it's got to be tiring for the non-super people of Earth.
I think if anything, it would make you more angry, the non-super people who's like, I really want to be a superhero, but that's not possible because that's all fantasy, so whatever. But now you know there are superheroes, and you could have been a superhero, but fuck you. You can't
not angry, but like just consider what the normal people have been through in the past, like 15 years on Earth. A rich guy shows up, and he's now got this awesome suit of armor that every year or so he gets in a armor fight with one of his billionaire ex-buddies, and they level a street on the West Coast or something, and that's good TV. And then a great some gods attack a town out in Arizona, and a big green monster breaks a bunch of the military hardware, and that's just good reading on the front page news. But then, oh God, aliens attack New York and level half the place. And just a handful of years, and then a sentient AI that one of these assholes created
drops a
levels
city.
a Eastern European country And then another alien comes and snaps half of people out of existence, and then the Avengers come back and snap half of them back into existence, causing God knows what supply chain problems. You think we've got it bad now?
Yeah, and you
then
got to
at the
think
end
about
of this movie, a giant goddamn face splits the sky and says, "I'll be back to judge all of you," and then disappears.
Yeah.
Like, therapist has to be a good line of work in the MCU.
Right.
Psychology is doing the mental health industry is doing very well in
yeah.
the MCU. What about you, Linda? What'd you think?
Oh, I was just happy to see the Stark boys back.
Love it.
Did you guys
Yeah.
stay for the stay long enough to see the two little shorts at the end?
Oh
Yeah.
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 Yep.
So
So
what's
I think
that all
Stark is
about?
basically going to be Stark again. So
Right.
But apparently, Blade
bastard.
has found
Yeah.
him for whatever reason.
Say again.
But apparently, Blade has found him for whatever reason.
Is that Blade at the end?
Yes, that is the voice of Blade.
Okay, that's interesting. Why would he like that? Oh wait, because I was actually doing a little research on this, and it's his character is the Black Knight.
The Black Knight is supposed to be
Yeah.
Black Knight. Yeah.
And he was looking at the Ebony Blade, and apparently they've had some dealing, that character's had dealings with vampires before, so maybe that's how that fits in.
And it might have been his uncle. So there's going to be
Supposed
that
to be his
whole-
uncle, yeah.
Yeah, Dane is estranged from his uncle, who may have been the one to have the relationship with Blade, and may have sent him there to check on his nephew, because Cersei, remember, she doesn't have the balls to tell Dane the world's ending, but she's like, you need to contact your uncle, you need to make up with him.
All right.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. Yeah. She
Yeah.
was
She's
making
like,
a
you've
pretty
always wanted to make
pointed
amends.
thing
You
about
need to do
that.
Do you
Yeah.
suppose he had a hard time saying "I love you, Cersei"? I mean, Cersei. Cersei in Game of Thrones was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Too many tie-ins there between the
Yeah,
names.
it's just creepy.
Yeah.
So you gotta admire him though. Like, his girlfriend gets taken, and he's like, "Okay, time to pick up the magic sword and go kill me a god, I guess." All right.
I mean,
that's
I would
love,
imagine
think.
if she's got that many years of experience, the sex must be excellent. So, I mean,
That's what he's hanging around for.
yeah, he's just like, there's no point in living anyway. So if she's not here, I mean,
Mortal women all ruined for him.
exactly. So
So
I will-
what's he? I don't understand what he's going to do at this point. So he's got this sword.
I
What's he
know.
going to do? Hop on
So
one of Bezos' rockets and fly up into space to go chase our
on
Arishim?
a giant.
I mean, he's
rocket
probably got a
penis.
Stark's probably got a few just lying around.
He probably does, but yeah. So I was looking into just before this too, trying to understand who his character is supposed to be, and being the Black Knight, and then from being that character, what's his superpower? And it really isn't a superpower, but he's supposed to be a really good swordsman, and a really good fighter, meaning that he can hold his own against the likes of like Captain America, I guess. So.
but he's
It'll be
also
interesting to
resistant to
see.
magic, and that's really important in this new.
Yeah, the blade gives him a bunch of abilities and can cut through pretty much damn near anything, including magic shields, I was reading.
Really?
So that should be pretty interesting. So I don't know. I didn't see that he's been cast for anything more yet, or what the plans are for that. But clearly they don't drop something like that into a movie without clear plans of wanting to do something. So
Right.
He may make an appearance in Blade. It's kind of all up in the air right now.
yeah.
I had, go
sorry.
ahead, Linda.
All the images I see of like the premiere and everything has got him with the cast. So I mean, I don't think they do stuff like that without having a future.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, Linda, what did you think?
She said she liked it.
Besides the two Stark
yeah.
boys.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
the redeeming quality was definitely the Stark boy. Otherwise, Somebody said they didn't think it was long enough. I thought it was too long. I felt like it was never going to end. So
Yeah. Another good thing. Another role in the MCU for Patton Oswalt.
Was he the leprechaun?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was
That guy was
at the
hilarious.
end scene with Eros.
Right. Now, I had a couple of questions about the show that I didn't understand. So at the end, that deviant Crow, the leader of the deviants, right? The main deviant there, he actually teams up with Icarus to fight the other Eternals, right? So that
No,
he teamed up with him.
he didn't team up with him.
Yeah,
he
not like a
only
team
there for
up.
one purpose to absorb.
Yeah, he was showing up to absorb the rest of them and then kill the.
Yeah, he was just trying to take advantage of the situation, but it wasn't like an official team up because his whole thing, he would have killed them all.
Okay.
So
all right. So that answers that. And then my next question. Oh, go ahead.
Wait. I do want to acknowledge that was Bill Skarsgård, who was the clown.
Oh, really?
Oh, dang.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, what did you think of that fight? I thought you would really like the character of Thena because you're an Angelina Jolie fan.
Yeah. I hope I can do 40s half as good as her. God damn, she's still hot. It's not fair.
Well, that was my other question was with Thena. So she's got this illness, right? Some sort of a mental illness because of all of her memories. Was she not wiped like the rest of them?
No, remember they said they tried to wipe her, but something went wrong.
Yeah.
And so it was a side effect
of that.
Memories.
Yeah, none of them knew that when they were wiped to go into Earth, obviously something didn't go completely 100% for her.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's why she could remember the last planet that they all died and was flashing back to that.
Yep.
Okay, but I didn't see a whole lot of that coming into play. I mean, there were a couple of scenes where she kind of went crazy and then started attacking her own team.
You had to listen
and that was and they tried to explain it as some kind of a mind fracture. Yeah, but basically you're broken and you snap and you kill everybody. But
the way that Ajax was explaining it was she'd lived too long and the weight of her accumulated knowledge had driven her mad.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
we come to find out later we come to find out later that what she was rambling on about actually led to where the plot kind of turns, and you find out that the Eternals are actually created, and this isn't their first planet that they've been to. This isn't their first mission. They've done this
and they kill the
numerous times. They kill the planets at the Shepherd. That's what Thena was remembering. That's what Thena was recalling, and that's why she kind of snaps a little bit. Their memories aren't. Yeah, and technically their memories, while they're wiped, they're still kind of containerized. Where did that guy keep them? Or whatever? He kept all the memories for analysis or something.
That was weird.
Yeah, that was weird. You'd think his better process would be a clean like fresh new memory sticks or something, why are you
take out the SD drive and put in a new one?
Put in a new one. Like why wipe it and just keep doing it? Even we know in technology today you can erase a hard drive and sometimes don't get all the data
off.
God, this is such a pain in the ass. I can never get these things in the right way.
Maybe that's why he wipes it the way he does. He's like, it's too hard to do the other thing. Yep, just lazy work. I really liked
onto the desktop and drag new ones in.
I really liked Thena's character, and what I also enjoyed about it is as prominent of a star as Angelina Jolie is, they didn't really hone in too much on her. Everyone kind of got their fair share of action and screen time. Yeah. And while they still made her important, she wasn't overshadowing anyway. It was like the perfect balance. Yeah. You have a cast of, 10 Eternals, these 10 elite warriors. Everyone seemed to have kind of maybe an equal type of share. Maybe with the exception of Makari, Lauren Ridloff, who played the sign language one. I would have liked to have seen more of her. But she did have her epic moments. When I thought it was awesome when the emergence started happening and the beings started coming out of the planet, and they were like, "You need to find it now. You need to find where it comes." And then she takes off running, and like if you thought she was fast before in the movie, no, you find out she's even faster than that, and she comes bolting across the planet. I thought that was pretty epic.
Which made it believable that she could hold her own with Icarus, and I think Icarus had no idea. He never stopped to consider, I can't move my laser eyes fast enough for her.
Right.
She can absolutely hold her own, and I thought that was awesome. So I felt like they kind of made up for that lack of screen time, getting closer to the last quarter of the movie there. So
I love that she was a klepto too.
So oh man, I can't remember which character, but one of the characters basically made everyone on set learn sign language for her.
That's Makari, I think.
Makari?
Yeah.
No,
Makari.
One of the actors.
Oh, one of the other actors
sign language for her.
Oh. Wait, what do you?
That would have been interesting to see. Yeah.
Wait, what are you saying? Because she's actually mute. She actually speaks in sign language herself.
Yeah, that's what.
He's saying another actor though made everyone else learn to
learn sign language so that she didn't have to
have a translator all the time.
Yeah.
Like everyone could talk to her. Like I can't remember.
Probably made it a lot
did
easier.
it?
Yeah.
Seems like it would take a while to pick up sign language though.
I don't think it would.
Because I mean, it's one of those immersion things. Once you get in there and you're forced to use it.
Well, there's sign language, and then there's shortcut sign language. So I think mostly what they were using was general shortcut sign language, not the actual spelling out of every word. Did you notice that?
You usually don't do that with sign language. There are actual signs for most words.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. So that's probably what they learned, not the hard to learn.
So, because it would have taken way longer to figure stuff out.
Who were your guys' favorites?
I like Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh,
he was good.
Yeah,
he was one of my favorites.
Oh man, my favorites were Gilgamesh, Kingo, and Fastos.
Okay,
those three were my favorites.
In order, Kingo and Gilgamesh for me, and let me find that name here. Fastos. I like how he built things, the technology.
Right.
You get hard. I thought that was pretty freaking awesome. But yeah, Kingo and the whole Bollywood thing was absolutely amazing.
He was living his best life as an Eternal.
Them finding him in Bollywood modern day was my favorite part of the movie, because they just let him go for 5 minutes.
They did. They let him go for like 5 minutes, and not only that, when they explained that his right hand man, Karun, his
ballet
assistant, ballet or whatever, when they explained to him that, like, oh, does he know that you're an Eternal? He goes, oh yeah, at first he thought I was a vampire, he tried to kill me several times, and then
drive a stake through my heart.
Right. Tried to stake me through the heart. I thought that was great. It was just like a casual thing. So he ended up being pretty funny.
That Karun character was one of my favorites too. I was hoping he wasn't going to.
How many cameras do you have?
Always wasn't going to get killed. Yeah, and he had a camera every time, because he was filming. The hilarious part, I think, was when one of the battles they were in near the end, Kingo is killing one of these deviants, and
but this epic move where he's like charged it up and then shoots it right.
Yeah, it gets on top of him. He's holding his power, letting it build up, and then he releases it and blows the head off, and all these guts fall on him. And he just hollers out, "Please tell me you got that on film."
I got it.
I got it. Yes, I got it.
I actually like Sprite, because I feel like they spent the most time with her character development, because she was in love with somebody she couldn't have, and she didn't want to stay. She wanted to grow up. She didn't want to always stay young. So she gave all that up to be normal human.
That would suck. It'd be as bad as being a child vampire.
But she basically, they had to at least let the audience know why her betrayal was understandable.
Yeah.
And that's something I really like. That is where I feel like the characterization in the movie was top notch, because they didn't all fall in line like the Avengers.
Right.
Everyone had their own motives for doing what they did. And Kingo's character just flat out
fails.
Pieced out.
He did
at the
nope
end,
out.
and I thought for sure he'd like come back.
Yeah,
and
I thought
kinda
he'd have
change
like an
apart
epic thing
at
where
a-
he, you know, he's flying in the air or something like that, and like shoots somebody from behind at a critical moment, and does something. No, he never shows
that
back
never
up.
happened. Like
Never
that was
happened.
just his
I was
character
waiting for it.
choice, and everyone was cool with it. Like
Yeah.
afterwards, they're like, "Hey, yeah, we all chose what we needed to do."
I was a bit surprised though that given that he knew what was going to happen to the planet if it failed, that he still didn't show up. And it was either, you know, maybe for him it was just important to be with maybe people that he's grown to love in that period of time, and what he thought was probably going to be the final moments. Why fight to death if you're going to die anyways? I'm just going to go be with family and friends or something in the final moments, or what? But it was like, dude, they could have used you.
I was kind of surprised that his porter was still cool with it too.
Yeah,
Not just like, hey, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, I expected at that point that his valet would say, you know what, we're done. I'm staying here. I'm going to help these guys up. There's probably nothing I can do, but you know,
maybe he would change.
I can throw rocks.
Kingo's mind. Yeah,
I can throw rocks.
And I'll be filming.
right.
Okay.
I'll document it.
I'll get a goddamn Pulitzer if they pull it off.
I do appreciate that all of them had different ways of speaking, obviously from blending in or Arishim purposely programming them that way. And Druig's was the most interesting accent to me. And I just checked, and the actor is from Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah, he sounded Irish, so.
Yeah, it was a very subtle thing though, because my CIO at work is from Ireland, and it's much more prevalent.
Yeah, I wondered if
I was like,
it
there's
wasn't to play on Druid.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
Because
Probably.
we've got Athena, obviously Athena.
I'm guessing the
Gilgamesh
Athenians
is an
gave her
obvious
the A.
reference. Icarus. So I kind of thought that they were going for Druid with him, and that was where the word would have come from in the world.
Yeah.
His power was creepy though. Like, really kind of didn't like him for quite a while.
So let me ask this question now. So there's obviously going to be some follow-up movies here, but do you think, and of course, some of the Eternals at the end went off in their spaceship to go find other Eternals that are fighting these deviants on other planets where there's these celestials, you know, encased in the womb of the planet, ready to be born. And they're going to educate them as to what's going on so that they can make an intelligent decision as to what they want to do. Right. So I'm seeing that, you know, as with the Eternals on Earth, there's going to be some that are going to want to support the Celestials and allow them to be born and the world's destroyed. And there's going to be some that want to stop the birth and save that particular world. Do you think at some point that there's going to be a massive war between the two different sides of the groups of Eternals, some that are on the side of the Celestials and others that are on the side of the respective planetary systems, and there's going to be a big battle that way, and maybe resulting in the death of the Celestials? Or
so
where do you think this is headed?
I could see that happening, where there's this buildup. I don't know how you'd write in the story for that, but I'd also be curious to know how deviants would also play into that. Because we've seen that they've evolved. I'd be curious to know if there's other planets where the Eternals failed. What happened to those?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, that's a good question. I could see a war happening, and maybe that's something Earth gets caught up in again, that the Avengers need to take part of, to help battle against other Eternals.
This is Marvel's cosmic area, so we might see the Guardians of the Galaxy getting involved with this. We've got the Marvels that's coming up, that'll have Captain Marvel and the new other character we were introduced to in WandaVision, along with and Nick Fury's out there working with the Skrulls. So all this stuff is happening in space. And then we're going to have the other stuff going on with the multiverse. So who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, I think Marvel has broken out of the Earth as a battleground kind of thing, and once you go to space, you can do anything anywhere. So I'm excited for that. But at the same time, we've now stepped into a universe that's so big. How much is too much?
Yeah.
Well, how many different timelines do we need?
Give it all to me.
So
And
everything I wanted when I was a kid, and I don't regret it at all.
Right. Now, the other question I had, and shit, I think I just lost it.
I have one. How do you keep the Black Knight and the Dark Knight separate? I'm confused.
One's DC, one's Marvel. There you go.
Oh, I remember what it was. So if you're the celestial guy and you've got these deviants all over the place that you've got to get rid of on all these different worlds, and you're making these Eternals that are going to go battle them, right? When you have a group of Eternals that is highly successful at destroying those deviants, wouldn't you just clone them and send them to all these other worlds?
That's what he's doing. Those
he is. So in other words,
no, the other Eternals are different. That we see that at the end because it's that
one shows
who
up.
Comes
the
to
other
them
one,
is Eros.
Right, but he keeps using some Eternals over and over again. We don't know which ones yet, though. Like their group, Ajax said she's been helping Arishim for millions of years. They've been their group has specifically helped for millions of years develop Celestials and destroy other planets.
So there could be many copies of Isis, or not Isis, but what was it? Icarus out there. Many versions of.
Or he's just got different groups. Like he's
it could be different groups, and then once they're done, he recycles them elsewhere. But at any given time, there's only one of them maybe deployed.
If you're painting minis, you don't paint the same one over and over and over again. You're always painting a new mini.
No, but you're also not sending the mini into battle to fight a war for you, right?
Yes, you are. You're totally doing that. That's exactly why you make the minis.
I'm saying if you've got a guy like Icarus with the laser vision that's very successful, and he succeeds in all these other planets, and you've got, an infinite number of worlds out there, you're not going to try to design an infinite number of Eternals. Why not you've already got this mold, let's stamp a few of these guys out and send
they're
them
not
out there.
going to every planet.
No.
Only certain planets are seeded with Celestials.
Yeah, but it looked like a lot of them.
Bill.
What's that?
This god is a scientist. He collects data. He wants variety. He analyzes things. So of course he might create a variety of Eternals to see, what does this do? What does this do? What does this do? Like, how do they react? What is this power performed? He's testing.
But isn't he supposed to be all knowing? Wouldn't he?
No, he's not all knowing. He's just all designing.
If he'd have been all knowing, he definitely would have stopped them before they killed Tiamat.
He's not all knowing. So I think it's just he's a mad scientist who looks at the big picture.
Okay.
So Jenna, what was your question that you had put in chat earlier?
Okay, so as our final question on Eternals, definitely was being forced to watch this in the theater worth it, because this was not simultaneously released like Black Widow and some of the other Marvel movies. So should they have released it in both? And, are you excited? So it's kind of like the theater release, and are you excited with the way this has continued to blow up the Marvel universe for us going forward?
All right. Well,
I can
go ahead, Chris.
Okay. So for me, I was disappointed it was not simultaneous release, because they've proven that it can work. And I think there are other factors that drove them to not do that. I, for one, though, did go see it in theater in IMAX with you, and it was great. I actually enjoyed the experience. I'm a big movie theater goer guy, so I didn't mind it, but I think that everyone not being able to share in that experience right now was not a good thing. I think there were so many more people that probably could have gone to see it in their own home when it came out and shared that experience with everybody. Making them wait really wasn't worth it. I don't think it would have hurt theaters all that much.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was
Agreed.
I wish that they had released it on streaming at the same time. We did obviously go see it in the theater, but only because we were going to talk about it on the podcast.
You didn't hoist the Jolly Roger?
Yeah, right. Right. No, I didn't. But we went to the theater, we watched it there, and you know, I was a little bit nervous about doing that just because, you know, the COVID infection rate here in Nebraska has really jumped up in
Douglas
the last couple of
County.
weeks. Douglas County, especially. It's doubled, and it's still on the rise. And so I was nervous about being in a theater with a bunch of other people. And but we went to an 11:30 show today, and there was, besides Lynn and I, there was like 4 other couples, I think, in the theater. So everybody was pretty well separated. So it felt fairly comfortable doing that. But if we had gone to a primetime show and it would have been packed, I wouldn't have felt really good about it.
Well,
So
I just wore my mask. So
how is it different though than going to the show we did as a group a few weeks ago
the show we did
at Alice's?
that was about
right.
at least 3 weeks ago, and the numbers weren't nearly as high as they are now.
Yeah. And
yeah,
I mean,
you kind of play it by ear, week by week, based
Yeah.
off of what the data says. So
yeah,
but it's
right.
based off that choice. You have the choice to decide whether you're going to go or not. If numbers are high or low, when you do this in the theater the way that it does, the way that they did, you don't really have that choice. You either go to see it or you don't, and it could be a really bad time to go.
Yeah, and at least the theater that we went to down in Kansas City, it looked like they revamped their HVAC system and had scrubbers and whatnot in place. So I don't know if they actually did any of that or if they just hung up some signs.
Yeah.
No one's really checking on it, I guess. But yeah, our theater too, it wasn't exactly a packed theater. We basically had a whole row to ourselves.
Yeah,
and it wasn't when we went either. So it was fairly empty. I was actually surprised maybe people didn't spread out, or they still went to their assigned seats, but you could have sat anywhere.
Yeah, the people who sat behind us were supposed to have 2 rows between us.
Yeah.
I think they moved.
Yeah.
So, and then like another group of people sat 1 seat away to our left. I'm like, it's an IMAX, you have all of this room. So like basically there was only 10 of us in the theater, but we were still pretty close. I tried to space us out.
and what time what showing did you go to? What time?
6:30 on a Tuesday night at Westroads. So
wow.
but no, I'm like saying, like, it was a great amount of people. It's the fact that they didn't take the initiative to sit either where they were supposed to, or buy tickets further away.
Yep, that's why I wore my mask.
Yeah, no, we kept our mask on too.
Yeah.
So, and it's those kind of decisions that you can't control everybody. So that's where it's just kind of, you play by ear. But again, that's the risk that you take. And I don't appreciate when you've already made a decision to do that with your other films. Just continue it through the rest of the year, see how things are going in 2022, and deal with it. It's not hurting your bottom line all that much, if at all.
Right.
You know?
I think it goes back to the issue with ScarJo. I think the contracts that were made probably pre-COVID, and the ruckus that turned into, and the fact that maybe the Disney is not adjusting the payments to the stars to reflect the simulcast. They're trying to avoid that.
And they had much more of an all-star cast this time around.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Upsetting them could have created much more issues.
Or not. I mean, it's Disney. We saw what they did in reaction to the whole Black Widow thing, and just basically, fine, you're done, you're out.
I mean,
even if you had that many stars, I don't know. I still wouldn't trust them.
Yeah, but that was Black Widow's ending movie.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is supposed to be the kickoff for a whole new branch of the story they've got. Like, who knows how many movies they have tied up in these characters coming up. And if they were to try the same thing they did with Black Widow, with Angelina Jolie on the cast, in addition to the Stark boys and the other recognizable faces they had, they're going to piss off all those people and get sued 10 times with the star power of Angelina Jolie behind it.
I could see it happening. I really could.
Yeah, they could, and they could tank it.
It's because they can take it. It's because of how big they are is why
they can take it, but the real damage might be to like whatever movies that blows up down the line, that's instead of millions of dollars in damages, it's billions of dollars in box office sales they're sacrificing.
Don't just write something else.
And and then who are you losing because they don't trust you to do right by them? Like the Russo brothers, it's in doubt that they will be willing to work for Disney again because they felt they can't trust them to fairly treat the contracts or be willing to adjust as needed for the COVID situation.
Like there's any number of actors that Disney can hire for upcoming movies. Like there's always people hungry for that, but sooner or later, if nobody trusts them at all and they're just going to screw over everyone, you're not going to get a very good turnout for Avengers 5 if it's the bean counters who are starring as the new Iron Man and Captain Marvel.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how this continues to develop, but I thought it was just nice to be in a theater again. I'm not gonna lie, the smell. I walked through the doors, the smell of popcorn.
Yeah, I remember that specifically, like walking in, I'm like, that's popcorn. Butter. So much butter.
So definitely, if you can, if you feel comfortable and with the risk and want to wear your mask and you can find a good night to go where there's maybe not as many people, go see Eternals. It's just fun, classic movie cinema magic.
Good watching.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for jumping on here and talking about this tonight. And folks, tune in next time. We'll have some interesting discussion. Len and I just got back from Steampunk Convention in Madison, so we can talk about that a little bit. And also, we've been watching, a couple of us have watched the new Finch movie, so we'll probably talk about that. And I'm sure there'll be some other interesting developments between now and then as well. So tune in next time for some more fun discussion. Until then, take care and have a good week. And Seth, you want to tell them where they can find us?
You can find us at galacticdriftwood.space. That's our website, and you can listen to us on any of your favorite podcasting platforms, Stitcher, iTunes. Watch us on YouTube, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and you can also find us on synergynation.net along with many of our sister shows, including the Weekly Geekly and quite a few others.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks again, folks, and we will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood podcast. For more information and past episodes, please visit our website at galacticdriftwood.space or subscribe to us on YouTube. And now, please deactivate your cranial downlinks, collect your towels, and be sure to watch your step as you exit our gravity well.